myself, and let me first start by saying welcome, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Carissa Hobson. I'm the project manager on that long-winded project that I said yesterday. For short, we call it the Coastal EB project. It is a global project, but it was a pilot project with only 2 countries, Grenada and the Seychelles, and we were specifically focusing on small islands and their coastal ecosystems. The rationale behind the project was that small islands are heavily dependent on our coastal resources, and particularly the benefits that we get from our coastal ecosystems. Now, in particular, we deal with coral reefs here in Grenada for this project, and we recognize that our coral reefs have a very important role to play in sustaining our tourism and fisheries sectors, which we depend on very, very heavily here in Grenada. For instance, one of the facts that we discovered many people have no clue about is the fact that this lovely white sand beach that we have here, Grandad's Beach, Grenada is well known for Grandad's Beach. The sand on the beach is made from corals. When corals die and they disintegrate, they form the sand for the beaches. So a lot of people didn't even know some of these facts. So with some of this in mind, we decided to focus on coral reef restoration in Grenada. What we essentially did is we earmarked spaces on the reef that were more or less clear of coral like this, which we call reef building coral. The scientific name of this coral is Acropora cervicornis. We call it staghorn, and there are a lot of local terms for it. It's a coral that's brown, but it ranges from light brown to a deeper brown, depending on how much algae it has in it. So the reason why coral has its color is because of small microscopic plants that live within the shell of the coral, within the structure of the coral itself. So when they lose the plants, it bleaches altogether. So we decided that we were going to try to restore existing reef structures by planting coral onto it. How did we get the coral to plant? Well, we harvested small pieces of coral, as you saw from the pictures yesterday. We harvested small pieces. We started with pieces roughly about this size, and we put these in the nursery. The structure was on the beach, so when we get back to the beach, I'll show you the structure in greater detail. The structures we have here are like trees, so they're floating trees. They're held up in the water by buoys, so we tie a buoy to the tree, it causes it to float in the water, and we anchor it to the seabed with duckbill anchors. And we suspend these from the trees, and coral gardeners go out every week and they clean around the structures, make sure that the algae doesn't overgrow the structures, because what we want to do is give the corals their best chance of survival. And if they have that chance, then they will take care of the rest. So we go out with algae it has in it. So the reason why coral has its color is because of small microscopic plants that live within the shell of the coral, within the structure of the coral itself. So when they lose the plants, it bleaches altogether. So we decided that we were going to try to restore existing reef structures by planting coral onto it. How did we get the coral to plant? Well, we harvested small pieces of coral, as you saw from the pictures yesterday. We harvested small pieces. We started with pieces roughly about this size, and we put these in the nursery. The structure was on the beach, so when we get back to the beach, I'll show you the structure in greater detail. The structures we have here are like trees, so they're floating trees. They're held up in the water by buoys, so we tie a buoy to the tree, it causes it to float in the water, and we anchor it to the seabed with duckbill anchors. And we suspend these from the trees, and coral gardeners go out every week and they clean around the structures, make sure that the algae doesn't overgrow the structures, because what we want to do is give the corals their best chance of survival. And if they have that chance, then they will take care of the rest. So we go out, we clean the algae, and we also the coral gardeners have been trained to do monitoring in the nursery. So they take regular growth and health measurements of the coral, and we collect that data and we use that to help us determine things like how fast are the coral growing, how healthy are they, are the conditions working for them, do we need to think about things like whether or not the temperatures are way too high and we need to look for new spaces, because that would help us determine whether or not we can even replant the reef through this method. So far we've been rather successful. We installed our nurseries in June of 2015, so we're just about a year and a half, almost 2 years into the program. This is a relatively young piece of coral that died, but so far we've had on average about 90% survival rate in the nurseries as well as on the reefs. So we started out planting, we did our first set of outplanting last year, May, and the pieces that we replanted onto the reef, so we replanted pieces that were roughly this size, top here, roughly this size, and in about a year year's time, many of the pieces have tripled in size, some of them quadrupled. And so currently we're taking measurements to see how they're doing. We try to record how many fragments are dying, etc. So that's a little bit about the nursery itself. One of the parts of the program that we're most proud of is the fact that we've been able to get the community so involved. So the persons that we have working in the program, who we call coral gardeners, these are all members of the community. Well, in Grandland's case, they are members that live, of persons that live in the communities backing Grandland's beach. And a lot of them were fishermen, some of them are young people who were unemployed at the time. What we did is we offered them an alternative livelihood, or a new livelihood. So we agreed to train them. Most of them, as we discussed, a lot of them were afraid of the water, or in cases where they were fishermen, they were afraid of diving. There's a lot of misconceptions about the risks associated with diving, and in Grenada we have quite a few of the fishermen suffer from the bends when they go free diving with their tanks, so there was a lot of fear from their end in terms of being trained to scuba dive. But we invested in training the guys. We got them to open water level certification, which is the first level of scuba certification, and then we trained them in the skills that we thought a coral gardener would need. Now, some of your countries already have coral nursery programs. However, the way we've structured it in Grenada is really novel and new. So we said, our argument was, if you say you are a coral gardener, or in some countries, coral farmer, what does that mean? What are the skills that you will have as a coral gardener? And so what we did is we took the time to design a program with all the skills that we thought a person who said they're a coral gardener should have. So these guys have been trained in basic coral ecology and biology and identification. They've been trained to do basic reef surveys and site assessments, to select locations. One, to be able to harvest coral if we need to get new stock for the nurseries, but also to do basic agro assessments, modified simple agro assessments on the reefs to be able to locate areas where they can plant out. And what's really interesting, it's just off the point that we see out there, and along this beach we have a reef system, the Grandland's reef system, and that's the reef system that we're trying to restore, so our nurseries are located fairly close by. If you were a diver and you were to go out to our nursery site with us, we can actually swim to the reef and you can see some of the outplants inside. We won't do that today. I encourage you to come back to Grenada, come back scuba certified, and we will be more than happy to take you out to the site so that you can see a little bit more.